What's going on, YouTube? GraveCinder here, and welcome to episode 9 of season 4. So, as always, let's start with the couple of changes that I've made in between episodes. I'd like to zoom in right over here and show you guys that I've kind of sort of reworked this area where we have our hot air balloon. So just a couple of straight lines, reworked the parks. I took away, I believe, the lungs of the city just because I thought it was a little too dense, and went with a more of a low density layout. So we still have, I believe, this is the bird and bee haven, a couple of parks, a little volleyball court over here, and then additional park. I put in the gravel roads as well, just to give it more of that natural, earthy feel. And I forget what this one is called. The helicopter park. Yes, the helicopter park. That's what that is. Additionally, I added some trees and foliage and whatnot. So just to kind of make it look a little bit nicer. And I kind of did that over here in this area too. Over here, you guys will notice that the housing is different. So I felt like the university city residential housing was just a little bit too trashy for a nice area like this. So I went ahead and I changed up the district from that to the European district, and we have reached a milestone. We're at 10,000 population now. Let's take a look at that a little bit later. So that's what I changed right there. I added a road from here into this area right here, which I have also changed. I've made this particular area right here some low density commercial. So, and that stops actually over here where the road with grass starts. So this right here is all still residential, but this right here I've turned into commercial, and that'll come and zone up as time comes, of course. Let's see, the tram line, I changed the amount of trams that we had over here simply because of popularity. Not enough people were using the trams, and we had 9 of them. I believe we have like 4 trams running this line now, and I think that should be good enough right there. And I added this road right here. If you guys recall, we didn't have that before, just so people can walk easier from this side and catch the trams. And then it also gives us this crosswalk over here to where you can cross into this neighborhood as well, should you choose so. And pathway there, trees and whatnot there. I added a cemetery to this area right here simply because the other 2 were getting kind of full and we needed the additional coverage on this side of the city. And I think that's everything. I didn't change anything on this side. There we got our hot air balloon doing its tour. So that's that. So for episode 9, what do we have planned? Well, I have lots of things in mind. One of those things includes reworking the entrance to the city, because I feel like this bridge right here with all the huge pillars and everything just doesn't belong in this area. While we're at reworking the bridge and turning that into whatever else that fits a little bit better, I also thought about reworking this whole highway, all of it, going all the way out to that bridge that you see. Now, in order to do that, we are going to have to buy this additional tile that we currently don't have access to, and we can because we have the additional tile to buy. And then I'm also thinking about possibly incorporating some Sunset Harbor. So some fishing harbors and everything, kind of like right there. I think that's a perfect area for it. Just need to see what kind of fish we're gonna have. And soon enough, then we should kind of sort of get into some high density buildings. So we have some high density residential here on this side, which is the European, kind of on the lower side. But I'm thinking about incorporating some of that within the next few episodes as well. So where are we at? We have 282,000 in the bank. We just reached our 10,000 milestone, which we're going to take a look at here in a little bit. We have no demand for residential because everybody is still moving in right here. Small demand for commercial, which we have plenty of room right here. And minimal demand for industrial, which we can put in some more farming here, should we choose to do so. Few abandoned buildings here and there. A couple of complaints about not enough educated workers, and I thought I saw no complaints at this time for not enough customers, which I'm sure it's gonna show up. Which is another thing, actually. We should be looking into some university education here in a little while. Oh, the other thing that I did is I went into and I increased all the taxes to 12%, and that's where we're gonna leave them until we choose not to anymore, or at the very least once we have a few million in the bank. So I don't know. Well, let's start with buying this additional tile here. There we go. This also gives us access to the harbor, I believe. I think this is where it was. Not even sure if we can check yet. We can. Yeah, that's the harbor right there. So we can easily put in a harbor. We're not going to do that just yet. I'll leave that for a later episode once we kind of expand more into this part right here. I'd like to button up this right here and this right here as well before we do that. Hopefully. Who knows? So, milestone wise. 10,000 population, what do we get? We got level 6 unique buildings, train, monorail, and cable cars. When you guys suggested that we should possibly do some cable cars, we might, who knows, we'll see. New policies, small and big business benefactors, industrial space planning, high-tech housing, which is something that I'm gonna enable right away, and I'll show you guys that policy here in a second. New roads, can't not be excited about new roads, especially something that has a monorail above it, which I'm sure that we're going to use soon. New buildings, train station, cargo train terminal. We have the multi-platform train station that I have yet to use in any of my cities, believe it or not. Cable car stop, bunch of hubs. Looks like monorail bus hub, monorail metro, train hub, monorail station, metro intercity bus hub. I'm gonna get the yoga garden as well as the basketball arena. So that's that. Let's go into our citywide policies and let's take a look at the high-tech housing. So this is one of my favorite policies to use, and it is simply because it's one click of a button and you get to increase the land value everywhere. So it turns homes into much cooler smart homes to raise the land value around them, slightly increased land value, which that's the point of it, right? But the upkeep goes up a little bit more as well. So 4 cents per residential building. And I believe that goes for high density as well as low density. So we're going to turn that on and leave it. Our budget might dip just a little bit, but I'm okay with that. But with that, like for example, if we come over here, see all these green arrows? That's all the homes upgrading to the high-tech housing. And that actually goes to for all of the homes. So even the ones that we have in specialized industry, or specialized district, I should say. And yeah, let's get some folks up. Our budget did drop to 6,500 there for a second, but I mean, look at all these folks upgrading. Everybody's upgrading, and that's what I like to see. So, okay, all right. Where do we go from here? Let me give that some thought. I might come back with the destroyed highway, but we'll see. Maybe a time lapse. Who knows? Alright, guys, so welcome to day 2 of these shenanigans. So I've decided to put in a new intersection over here. I think I mentioned that in the previous episode that I would. And what I'm doing over here is just kind of trying to find a perfect fit for something that'll fit from the other side of the highway onto this side of the river, and connect it kind of to where it still has a little bit of that small town feel, not too much of the industrial, if you will, and just kind of go from there. I upgraded all the roads to, or some of the roads to the road with trees, and the rest to the industrial road, just to kind of have everything match up a little bit. Now over here you'll see that that I'm gonna start constructing what is called a Trumpet Interchange on an angle. So it's not going to be perfectly symmetrical. It's going to have some decent curves, I would say. And that actually didn't take as long as I thought it would, which is one of the reasons why I paused the recording a few days ago when I first started. But it turned out okay. I initially wanted to take this whole highway that's right here and just stretch it pretty much all the way up to the farming area over where we have that that little dip, or a former lake that used to live there or something. But unfortunately, it isn't something that I executed in this episode. Maybe down the road we'll add an additional highway connection going up towards that way, but we'll leave it for now. So leveling these roads was pretty simple. Nothing really much to it other than just messing around with the different elevations and just making sure that everything looks okay on an angle. So I had to redo a couple of things which were a little bit annoying, but overall I'm pretty happy with the Trumpet Interchange itself. Not the biggest fan of the area that we have here to what you're looking at right now to the left, or right now to the right, if you will, the industrial area, or how it fits. So we may have to rework that for the third time, but for now I think we'll leave it alone. If we ever decide to possibly connect to the other side of the highway from here, because the Trumpet Interchange is just that. It's a trumpet heading into the current part of the city that we have built. We don't have a way to get into or onto the other side of the highway. What I thought about possibly doing is reworking it and having it be a double trumpet interchange. So you would add just an additional trumpet in the other corner of the interchange and kind of connect everything together. So that might be coming in the future. I'm not 100% sure, but we're definitely going to need a way to get there, and I don't think going around the Trumpet Interchange, the current Trumpet Interchange, is the way to do so. So I've upgraded all the roads. I did do the lane mathematics on this interchange as well. So you'll notice I have, later on I have the 4-lane roads as well as the 3-lane roads, or highway, I should say. And then the additional thing that I did, you'll notice right after this little bit of detail that I'm putting in, is the nose of the Trumpet Interchange. I had to rework it a little bit because a quick simulation that I ran proved to have a pretty gnarly backup, if you will. And I didn't want to have a bunch of traffic on a brand new interchange, so I ended up reworking it. And that's actually what I'm doing right here. So a little bit of leveling. I extended the tip of the trumpet, if you will, and kind of converted everything into a 2-lane highway. I gave the incoming traffic 2 lanes on both ends, so from one side and to the other, just so they could have an earlier pick into which lane they want to go into. And here's the final result. All right, guys. So day 4 of recording the episode, and here we are. So Trumpet Interchange turned out pretty nice, I would say. Don't really have any complaints at this time. So just actually one complaint here. Sometimes we'll get a little bit of a backup, and hopefully once we do an additional connection from this side to the highway over here, we're going to alleviate some of those cars that are going through here all the way out here and going up that way. But I think for now we're good. So I like it. We'll see how that turns out. I did mention in the other time lapse that we may have to rework this yet again for the 3rd time. We'll see. I do want something coming down over here close to the Trumpet Interchange just to fill in the area, and we might add to it as opposed to rework it. Now, one thing that I didn't show you guys in the time lapse, and I actually just did this, is I turned the train tracks into sunken train tracks. So they go through here. And what I thought we could do is now come through here and fill in this area right here. We do have that demand for residential. It's not going to go away. This bridge right here, by the way, is a tram track bridge. So we are going to have a tram connection over here. And we're going to have to finish up this line as currently it has no connection. So I think that's what we should work on in this episode, to just kind of finish it up, if you will. And then in the next episode, oh, you know what? Let me get rid of that. I had to place that down in order to mess with the train tracks. Next episode, then we're gonna look into expanding out this way and figuring out what to do and how to bring everything in. But I do want to finish this before we do that. Okay, so what we'll do here is, first off, let's go ahead and we'll extend this district all the way out to here. Clean up later, promise. There we go, something like that. And what I'd like to do is come in over here, put in some local and organic produce. Now I know that's gonna despawn these buildings, these commercial buildings here, and turn them into local and organic produce, which is a-okay. And I want to have some let's see if we can do something like this. Yep, local and organic produce right alongside here. And you know what? It wouldn't be a terrible idea to have the trams coming through here. And going up this way, we are gonna want... Turn off the snapping for now. We're gonna want another road right here. Actually, that kind of messes with the terrain. Let's see if we can bring it down like so. Now we will go and turn on snapping. See if we can curve this nicely into here. And the trams are now... Nope, not that one. This one. The trams are now going to come straight here. Kind of like so. We're going to come here. We're going to turn around. And we're going to connect like that. And there we go. We have a perfect little turnaround spot for the trams over here. Now for the rest of the roads, we will use the regular loads. Do that, snapping off. And here we're going to grid just a little bit, not too much. Can we go straight here? We can. Perfect. All right, a little bit of unevenness there. That's okay. We'll redraw that road. Perfect. There we go. So most of this stuff here is going to be the high density European residential. A little bit of a commercial block right here. I don't want to put in too many cuts into the tram track, so I think something like that should be just a-okay. Now before we do any zoning, let's come into trams. And let's see if we can drag this and have it stop right here on this corner. All right, what just happened here? Did I drag the wrong one? No, I dragged... Okay, all right, I guess for the sake of time, we're not gonna mess with trying to figure that out. So start here. We'll have a stop here. We'll have a stop close to the intersection. So say right about there. No more stops until we get to here, which was our original stop. Here is our other original stop. One there. I know we had one here. And then this lane came all the way through. I believe we had a stop there. We'll have a stop here as well. We're not going to have another stop here. Yeah, we'll leave it just like so. Did we make a stop here? I don't think we did. So coming back around, we'll have a stop there. And the stop there. And then we'll just kind of double back on ourselves right here. There we go. So one tram serves clockwise and counterclockwise. Have that stop there and that stop there. And that completes our line. So I think that should be just a-okay for now. Let's go ahead and put in some commercial. Local and organic produce right there. I think that should look just a-okay. We'll paint the rest of this in. Actually, not there. It's going to be like our little market area. Come on. There we go. Get rid of that. And then here, we're going to put in the rest of this as high density residential. We can do that there as well. Commercial. Let's do a couple of European offices as well. Why not? I think those will look nice. That right there. Maybe some offices right here. What I don't want to do is make the area too dense. So let's stick with that. We'll put the game on 3 speed, see how it develops, and then we're also going to need a power transfer. So if we possibly put in, what's that look like? It's not terrible. And you know what? I think it's 100% realistic to have power lines going across the train track. And then what we'll do here is we'll provide another park. Are you too big? No? All right, perfect. That actually works for me. Now, maybe just for safety reasons, we make a boulder barrier, kind of like so. And then hopefully down the road we'll do some decor and whatnot with some rocks coming down this way. So cool. All right, it's raining, streets are shining, looking good. I also think it's about time that we turn on the rest of our factories. Kind of let that come in, just so we're operating at full capacity. But overall, I think we're doing good. Traffic is starting to possibly become a problem here. Let's see where we're at as far as traffic goes. 94% at this time. I think we should be good for a little while longer. I think this design will hold us up until we put in this additional connection from the highway going down this way. By the way, next milestone, what do we get? 16,000, new area, liberal arts college, policy visiting scholars, crematorium. Finally, let's definitely use that as soon as it comes out. Cryopreservatory, kind of a unique building, stores dead bodies for the future, I believe. So we may mess with that. Floating garbage collector, I'll touch on it once we unlock it, but currently we don't have any polluting water that we need to mess with. So I think we're good on that. Let's do a little bit more zoning here. So we're close here to the polluting inland water treatment plants. So hopefully placing some residential here will not be an issue. Do a couple of offices there. Maybe one there. And then over here, we can do the same thing. Perhaps an office and there and there. How about a couple of more commercial spots just along there, and an office or two right here. So that's pretty diverse right there. So we have a bunch of different kind of zoning, offices, and high density residential. You know what, for fun we can even put a small low density residential home right there. They may complain about the noise pollution coming from the train tracks, and if that happens, we'll ask them politely to leave. But you can do that. You can mix different kinds of zoning in a compact area like that, and especially with this European type of feel, they fit really well together. And then, of course, down the road, we'll put in some trees and whatnot over here. Kind of decorate the area. And I think we should be good. So let's do one more thing before the end of the episode. Let's do a health check in our city. And I like to do this every once in a while. I do it a lot off camera. Just kind of give me an idea of what I need to do next. But here's how you do a a decent health check in your city. So push wire triangle, go into info views, right? And here you have all of your tabs. So it'll tell you where you are with power. So power wise, we're doing fantastic. Couldn't be better. Water looks like we're getting a little bit low on the water availability, but remember, if we go into economy, our water, oh, never mind, that's our power budget. So our water is at 100%. So we're gonna, in this next milestone, we're gonna unlock these bigger, large water towers. So then that's probably something that we do right here. We put those in. I think they'll fit better size-wise with the wind turbines. So water, we'll work on it. Crime and police coverage. So everywhere where it's green on the roads, you have decent coverage. Where it isn't, you don't. So kind of like right here. But I really don't want to put in a police station anywhere on this end. So I think we should be okay. That, and we have 59 detained criminals, and our crime rate is at 5%, which means that it's fairly low. Fire safety, this you can't not have good fire coverage in your city because things will set on fire quite often, and I think we're doing pretty good for the most part. The other fire thing that you can mess with is the fire towers. So you can plop one of these in your city. Firefighters man the fire watchtower to spot forest fires and whatnot. But the thing that you should have with this is the fire helicopter depot. So should you get a fire right here, obviously a fire truck isn't going to come through here. You're going to need a helicopter to come through and put out that particular fire. And the rain doesn't help either, just in case you were wondering. The rain will not put out the fire. Next up, we have health coverage. Average health is 66%, so that actually could be better. Currently, we have 0.6 citizens, by the way, so health coverage we'll work on. I like to have this higher up in the 80s, so we will work on that. Here you do also have a tab where you can mess with death care. Death care so far is good. Our cemetery usage is at 50%, but once we unlock the crematoriums, we'll only use cemeteries if they fit well in that area. Childcare and elder care, unfortunately, we have none at this time, but what that's referring to is the Sunset Harbors DLC, the child healthcare and the elder care. So we are going to plop these hopefully somewhere within this area in the near future, possibly next episode, and I'll touch on that a little bit more. Population wise, this is also a decent tab right here. Gives you your population. You have unemployed people as well as, or people employed, as well as jobs available, and then unemployment. The lower the better, and ours is currently at 3%, which I think we're doing pretty darn good. Citizen happiness, this tells you how you're doing as far as your zoned areas go. Most of our folks are over 70%, except for commercial is as well. So I think overall we are doing good, providing the necessary services to keep, and leisure as well, to keep everybody in the city happy. Speaking of leisure, we have a couple of unique buildings, so no leisure here. Or unique buildings, We do have parks and plazas over here. It wouldn't actually hurt to add another park here. So let's see, what do we want to do here? Let's go with a Paradox Plaza, and we'll put that sucker right there, and that should give us a little bit more coverage. Put it on 3 speed, and you see how these buildings are turning a different color. That means that we were successful. And we'll put in another plaza with trees just on the end right here. Whoa, that looks pretty bad. Get rid of that one. Let's put in a playground. There we go. So you'll notice that now we're going to have decent park and plaza coverage in this area. And I think everything else is pretty good, except for right here, but I think we're good, and not going to worry about it too much over there on that side. So we're doing good there. Park areas, we only have the one. And man, I've been putting this off for forever. Not putting it off, just forgetting. We did level up to level 2 here in Copper Brook. And let's go ahead and we will put in tent camping site. Will fit nicely there. Oh, and we're leveling up right away. So now we have camping site number 1. We have a couple of lookout towers, lean-to shelters. Let's look into that in the next couple of episodes as well. Really, I want to do a health check right now. We have no public libraries or sports arenas, and that's to come down the road. Land value is another big one to look at as well. The greener, the better. So you can see right here, some of these homes along the water have a super high land value. Actually, a much better example is this right here. So super high land value there. And then how to increase land value is one with that high-tech policy that I enabled for the city. Slight increase in land value there. But also by providing parks, necessary services such as police, fire, and health, or any other services like public transport. Those are all services that you can provide to your citizens in order to increase the land value. Outside connections, not really my forte or my expertise, but just from what I know about it, if you go into imports, it tells you what you're importing. So we're pretty much importing goods, nothing else. Exporting, we have a lot of farming exports since we have a farming industry here. Not sure why we're exporting oil products, as that we have nowhere. And then we also have a little bit of ore products that we're exporting. Again, we don't have any of that, or forestry. So not sure what's going on with that. But again, this tab, not really my my forte or expertise. Levels in your buildings, the darker the color, the better. So here we have the residential, and you can see that most of our stuff, not most of our stuff, a decent amount of our stuff is that dark green color, which means that it's level 5. But we can select the building, and it says how do you, what it'll the building itself will tell you what you need to do to increase the land value. And parks and plazas, looks like these guys might be lacking on some in order to upgrade to level 5. It works exactly the same way with your commercial buildings. So this one attract wealthier customers, but this one over here has already leveled up to level 3, so nothing to worry about there. Offices, come in over here. This is really the only area where we do have offices currently. And then industry, we have a 0 regular industry. Transport, trams is our only, well, trams and taxi are the only 2 mass transit options that we currently have. And looks like we have about 583 people per week using our trams and only 7 for taxis. Again, like I mentioned, taxi services is one of those where you just don't make your money back, so you might as well even make it a free service. Traffic-wise, we already touched on that, but why did we drop to 86%? Whoa. Okay, so that is an unexpected backup, and I'm actually going to fix that right away. Most of these cars are in the right lane, so I'm thinking some of them want to come through here. So a couple of ways to fix this is, one, you can enable intersections and put the game on 3 speed, and that'll kind of, well, you know what an intersection does. No need to explain, but it'll help free up some of that traffic there. The other thing that I'd like to do is, looks like most of these folks are commercial vehicles, and they would probably like an easier way to get into this area here. So let me pause. I'm going to go into our highway selection. Let's come through here. And we'll do something like that. Change direction. What this will do is we'll give these commercial trucks another way to get into our commercial area here. And that should help a little bit. That, and I'm also imagining that most of this traffic, or a lot of this traffic, is just folks moving into this new residential area right here. So we'll resume the simulation over here. And you see how many cars are already coming off right here. So that would have all been stuck up here in this area. I was gonna... Oops. Come on. There we go. And now connect that back up, and I think that's that should be okay. Traffic-wise, 85%. We're up by 1%, and now I think we can turn off the traffic lights and let everything flow, and I think that should fix itself in just a little while. Again, we'll take a look at it in the next episode, but traffic, something to improve on. Road maintenance, we have the one road maintenance depot, and as you can see, if the road is green, it's maintained well. If it isn't green, kind of like these far roads out here, we don't have enough coverage. Traffic routes, we'll leave that for a different time. Pollution, average ground pollution, 1.18%, and that's this stuff right here, as well as this stuff right here. Nothing else in our city pollutes, and 0 drinking water pollution, which is very good. Garbage is something that we are going to have to improve on as well, and I'm thinking we can easily plop in a incinerator, which is going to pollute more, but we'll have better garbage coverage. All right, we left off at garbage. We are now in the green, which is good. Terrain height, I mean, really just tells you terrain, wind, nothing to look into there. Noise pollution, I'm sure you guys know how that works. Commercial, industrial creates noise pollution. Residential does not. So do the streets, by the way. So not a good idea to zone, say, a home right here. Districts, not much to cover there. Heating, no. Earthquake, no. Radio coverage, no. Escape routes, no. Destruction, tourism. So this tells you where your tourists like to visit, and our city attractiveness is only at 26% right now. I'd like to disagree with that. I think the city looks a lot better than 26%, but again, I'm also not sure on how the game calculates that. Park maintenance, we don't have a park maintenance depot, which is something we should put in the near future. Industry areas, farming, it just tells you kind of where you have an industry area and where you could potentially zone. So like a little bit of ore here. Oil we really don't have on this map. And then forestry. Fishing industry, which is something that should come right over here at some point. We'll look into. And then mail, we don't have any mail coverage just yet, which again is something that we should look into. So we have lots of things to work on. But overall, I think we've created a really good looking little start to our city. So I'm gonna leave you guys with that. I'd like to thank you for coming in and checking out the episode. If you're not subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button. If you liked the video, go ahead and give it a like. And as always, be the best that you can be in everything that you do. And I'll see you guys on the next one.